So students that live in the regions are also registered on part-time mode. Okay, I'm recording. Let me share my screen. Thumbs up if you can see the screen. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Narisha. That is a hands up. Is that a hands up? Is that a question? Or
My
just
apologies.
confirming? Oh, just confirming that you can see the screen. Okay, so we've got a very short unit that I want to do today, but I did decide to uh, have a little bit of a class today so that and then we will be completely on schedule. You have a test coming up. Your test is being written during class time as indicated on your official timetable. The test is face-to-face on campus and at all the various regional centers. There is also a test available the following Saturday. So the test is on, what day is the test? Oh goodness, let me check quickly. Give me a second. The test is on Tuesday, the 24th of March. I'm still arranging a venue during class time, so you cannot claim that you have a clash. That same test will also be available at the regional centers. Then the following Saturday, but that Saturday is already, so that is Saturday, the 28th. There will be a different test available. I'm setting different tests. It's not the same test. There will be a different test available at the regional centers. That Saturday is actually already part of recess. Reason why I am providing a test, even though it is during recess, is because the Tuesday test is in the evening, and we do have students living in the regions that have to travel to regional centers to write tests. If they can't travel, if it's going to be too late at night for them to travel, there will be a test available on the Saturday morning. That test will not be available in Windhoek. If you live in Windhoek, you have to write the Tuesday evening or not at all. Okay, so back to contracts. We have, reminder, we have a valid contract. Once the contract is valid, it doesn't suddenly become void. It remains valid. But obviously, nothing lasts for, and then last week on Thursday evening's lecture, we looked at breach of contract. Breach of contract if something goes wrong during the contract. What we're looking at now is termination. Termination of contracts. How do contracts come to an end? Now, the most obvious and the preferred and best manner for contracts to come to an end is by performance, which is also known as discharge. Just quickly here. Identify the type of breach. Similar question can be asked. Identify the manner it has terminated. So performance or discharge, that is when you enter into a contract. Obviously, you enter into this contract with the aim of achieving something. There is a reason why you have entered into this contract. And once your ultimate goal, why, the reason why you entered into the contract has been achieved, the contract will terminate. So all the obligations have been properly fulfilled. Everybody is happy, and the contract then comes to an end. Sometimes contracts are not for a specific, to achieve a specific thing, but for a fixed period of time. An employment contract, for example, if you're appointed as an employee for 6 months, a year, whatever, once the time has passed, contract will terminate due to effluxion of time. I've mentioned previously, I don't like the word effluxion. Welcome to use the word expiry of time as well. Your contract has not terminated due to performance or because the time has passed. Contracts can also, sorry, contracts can also terminate by agreement. Remember, a contract comes into existence because the parties have entered into an agreement. A contract is an agreement entered into with a fixed intention, the serious intention to create obligations. Now, if you agree to enter into a contract, obviously you can also agree to end your agreement. Now, there are just give me a second. I'm going to be with you in a moment. So there are various ways in which parties can agree to terminate their contract. The first one is release or waiver. Let's number them. Release or waiver means exactly what it says, where the one party agrees to release the other party from a contract. What you need to understand in this regard is release is still an agreement. It comes about by the one party offering to release the other one, but the release will only be finalized, will only terminate the contract if the other party accepts the release. We have a contract of employment, and I decide to, without good cause, terminate your employment. I can offer to release you from your contract, but you are under no obligation to accept that. Novation. Novation, new. So always make little bridges in your head to remember these words, because I'm throwing a lot of legal terminology at you. Try to make it easier for yourself to understand and remember these words. Novation, a new contract. Novation, that would be a situation where I sell my cell phone to Martha and she has to pay me $1,000. But before she has paid me, I agree with Martha that instead of paying me the cash, she will gift me clothes to the value of $1,000. We had a contract where the performance was payment of money. Now we have a new contract where performance is gifting clothes. Our old contract, our original contract, has come to an end. Due to novation, it was replaced by a new contract. Similar to novation is compromise, also known as settlement. Compromise is similar to novation in that the old contract is replaced by a new contract. Difference being, compromise will be the situation where there was a dispute. Novation, there was no dispute. We just decided to do something different. Compromise, we had a contract, but we had a disagreement. So I sell my cell phone to Martha, and I am under the impression that we agreed on $1,000. Payday comes and she subsequently tells me, no, we never agreed on $1,000. We agreed on 500. So now there is a dispute. We agree on 750. Compromise, exactly the same meaning, in fact, as it has in ordinary English. So that is the manner in which contracts can terminate by way of agreement. Sometimes also the law steps in. Resulting, certain legal things happen, resulting in the contract coming to an end. The first one here is set off. Set off can only take place under specific circumstances, namely where there is money involved, where the two parties are reciprocally indebted to each other. So what happens when there is set off is I owe Martha $1,000 due to some agreement that we had. We then enter into another separate agreement, different topic, different subject matter, where Martha needs to pay me $500. So I owe her $1,000, she owes me $500. I'm not going to pay her $1,000 and then she pays me $500. No, we subtract the smaller amount from the bigger amount, and I just pay her $500. The smaller amount is set off against the larger amount. The next one is merger. Merger is sometimes a little bit difficult to understand. Merger will take place in circumstances where the same person becomes both debtor and creditor. Where something factual happens, there's a change in circumstances, which leads to the same person becoming both debtor and creditor. Let's say Stacy rents my car and she needs to pay me $1,000 a month for the rental of my car. Now she buys my car. The lease agreement will terminate due to merger because she has now become the owner of the car. When she was renting the car, with regard to the payment of the money, I was the creditor because I was the owner of the car. Now she becomes the owner of the car. She doesn't have to continue paying herself rent. She can't. You can't pay yourself. You can't be your own debtor or your own creditor. The next one, you might be surprised to find out about this. Extinctive prescription. We have in Namibia a Prescription Act. You don't need to remember the name and number of the act. It's the Prescription Act, Act 68 of 1969, which sets out time periods after which debts will prescribe. If a debt hasn't been paid after a certain number of years, it falls away. There are various time periods. The only one you need to know is that contractual debts prescribe after 3 years. So if I owe Narisha money and I don't pay and I don't pay and I don't pay and I don't pay, after 3 years, the debt will fall away. If she has not taken legal action for the period of 3 years, she can no longer claim the debt. And then the last one is supervening impossibility of performance. Supervening impossibility of performance is when performance becomes impossible after contracting. becomes objectively impossible after contracting. Two reasons. So, previous lecture, we had, I used the example of I sold my horse to somebody, I can't remember who bought my horse, and before delivery, I take out my gun and I shoot the horse. A supervening impossibility of performance, that will be if the horse is bitten by a snake. So the horse dies, I can't deliver, but it's due to reasons beyond our control. In this instance, you need to just be careful here. When we were doing the requirements for a valid contract, we looked at objective or impossibility of performance, which means before or at the time of contracting, performance is objectively impossible. Nobody can perform. Possibility of performance is one of the requirements for a valid contract. If performance is impossible, then one of these requirements is absent, which means the contract is void. Supervening impossibility of performance is after contracting. So we have a valid contract, but before I can perform, performance becomes objectively impossible due to circumstances, due to reasons beyond our control. The contract is valid, and I've told you this more than a dozen times. If a contract is valid, it remains valid. It doesn't suddenly go void. Please get that straight in your heads. A contract that is valid doesn't suddenly become void. It remains valid, but it will terminate. And then also distinguish from prevention of performance. Prevention of performance, also after contracting, so you have a valid contract, but not due to reasons beyond the control, due to the actions contracting party. In that case, this is breach of contract. Make sure that you know the difference between those three. Distinguish between objective impossibility of performance supervening impossibility of performance and prevention of, oops, no, not that one. That wasn't supervening. That was prevention of performance. What did I do now? I hope, people, that you are listening to sorry. I hope you're listening to my lectures very, very carefully, because step by step, class by class, lecture by lecture, I am literally giving away your entire test one. If I'm telling you I'm going to ask this, I'm going to ask this, I'm going to ask this, I am serious that I'm going to be asking these things. Don't be taken by surprise. Okay, so now we have finished. End of Unit 7. We're done with introduction to contracts, the basic law of contracts. Next week, we move on to specific contracts, specifically the contract of purchase and sale. Any questions? No questions? If there are no further questions, okay. Elvianus?
So far, so good, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for offering up some time on your Saturday morning. I all know you all are busy people with lives and things to do, etc., etc. I do appreciate you making time. Martha, your hand is up. Martha, you've raised your hand.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm not sure if you addressed this earlier in the previous lessons, but I'd like to know if these specific notes are also going to be made available, because on e-learning they are not there. I'm seeing
I have addressed this previously, but I will address it again. On e-learning, you have the study guide. The study notes are on e-learning. And do not tell me that they're not there, because they are literally there. E-learning, the e-learning platform is divided into separate sections. There's a section for law of contract. Let me show you quickly. I'm going to just log on to e-learning. Just give me a couple of minutes. Okay, just going to stop the recording. I don't need to record this.